Good afternoon, children.
Good afternoon.
We learned about the different hormones produced by pituitary gland and the 6 hormones which are produced by anterior pituitary we discussed. And now from pars distalis, the anterior pituitary consists of pars distalis, or adenohypophysis consists of pars distalis and pars intermedia, the different hormones produced by pars distalis we discussed. So let us continue from where we have stopped. Pars intermedia, that also form a part of anterior or adenohypophysis. In human beings, as I told, we already discussed the slide earlier, it's merged with pars distalis and it produces melanocyte stimulating hormones, and melanocyte stimulating hormone will act on melanocytes and regulate the pigmentation of skin, because melanocytes are the cells which contain the pigment melanin, and they will control the amount of melanin pigment produced, and accordingly the skin color, the complexion of people will differ. So mainly melanin is found in many other parts also, and skin, the pigmentation of the skin is mainly decided by melanin, and in the iris of your eye also you can see it, and you might have seen blue eyes also, at the same time brown, then black eyes. So blue eyes means melanin pigment is very less. Brown and dark color means melanin pigment is more. But mainly melanin is there also, and not only in the eyes, different parts you can find it, and mainly the skin pigmentation is controlled by the presence of melanin in these melanocytes. Next is neurohypophysis. So the first part we have completed, adenohypophysis. Moving on to neurohypophysis. And neurohypophysis, they will store the hormones oxytocin and vasopressin. Hope you are remembering. We learned that these are produced and then axonally they'll be transported and stored in the pituitary gland. So this part, it is the neurohypophysis that stores oxytocin and vasopressin. Oxytocin and vasopressin get stored in the neurohypophysis. Now let's see what is the function of oxytocin. It helps in the contraction of smooth muscles. In females, it stimulates the contraction of uterus at the time of childbirth and the production of the ejection of milk from the mammary gland. So oxytocin, they play a very important, or this particular hormone play a very important role in the contraction of smooth muscles at the time of delivery, in case of normal delivery, not a cesarean operation. So when normal delivery is carried out, the baby is delivered by the contraction of the uterine muscles. So this is brought about by oxytocin, and it also helps in milk ejection from the mammary glands. Next one is vasopressin. So oxytocin and vasopressin. So storage is taking place in neurohypophysis, and vasopressin is also known as ADH, or antidiuretic hormone. Diuretic, or the term came from the word diuresis. Diuresis means loss of water through urine. When so much water is lost, that situation, that condition you call as diuresis. So it is anti-diuretic hormone, means which will reduce the loss of water through urine. It will promote the reabsorption of water and other electrolytes by DCT. DCT means distal convoluted tubule. So kidney In 10th standard, you have learned the functional units in a kidney. What are the functional units in a kidney? What do you call? Yes?
Nephron.
Nephron. So nephron, you have learned anterior part is cup-shaped Bowman's capsule. Then it is followed by a highly coiled tube. So it has got distal and proximal convoluted tubule. Then there is a U-shaped part known as Henle's loop. So you will be learning about the detailed structure of nephron in the chapter excretory products and their elimination. That chapter you will be learning. So distal convoluted tubule of kidney means it's a part of the nephron, a part of the tubule. And antidiuretic hormone or vasopressin, it will promote the reabsorption of water and electrolytes by the distal convoluted tubule of the kidney. You know that even though the glomerular filtrate, when blood passes through the network of capillaries known as glomerulus in the Bowman's capsule, all these you have learned in 10th standard. When blood passes through the glomerulus inside Bowman's capsule, some of the substances get filtered from the blood and they form glomerular filtrate. Hope you are remembering, children. So such a cup-shaped structure is there. Then highly convoluted tubule you can find. Then it will enter into the collecting duct. So here you can see a cup-shaped part also. And this cup-shaped part is Bowman's capsule. Here a network of capillaries you can find. You call it as glomerulus. As blood passes through the glomerulus, some substances get filtered out. You call it as glomerular filtrate. And this glomerular filtrate, hope you're remembering all these. When the glomerular filtrate, which is formed, as it moves through this tubule, many of the useful substances will be reabsorbed. Water, electrolytes, etc. get reabsorbed, and in this way it will reduce diuresis or loss of water from the body, or major part of the water gets reabsorbed and it prevents water loss. So you call it as antidiuretic hormone. Vasopressin is antidiuretic hormone which will promote, which will help in the reabsorption of water and electrolytes, different salts and water by the distal convoluted tubule of kidney. Not to worry, what is this distal convoluted tubule? It's a part of the nephron which is highly coiled. Distal and proximal convoluted tubule is there. You will be learning its structure in our next chapter, and this will help in reducing diuresis. And children, you all have got the notes, no? I told you, I think, first period. I forgot. Did I mention about the notes?
Yes,
Okay. Hope you all have received it. Then deficiency of ADH. So ADH is very essential to reduce the water loss through urine from our body. And when there is deficiency of ADH, if vasopressin is lacking in our body, it will result in the diminished ability, or the kidney tubule won't be able to reabsorb water as good as when there was antidiuretic hormone. So in the absence, when the level of this hormone goes low, the ability of the kidney to reabsorb water and other substances will get reduced. So it will lead to the reduced ability of the kidney to conserve water, and so much of water gets lost from the body. Once water is lost from our body, it can lead to dehydration. When water is lost, that will result in dehydration of your body. And this condition is known as diabetes insipidus. This should not be confused. This disease or this disorder should not be confused with diabetes mellitus. Diabetes mellitus is the one which you are very familiar with, where which is caused by the deficiency of insulin or defective production of insulin by pancreas. You know, insulin will help in regulating the level of sugar in your blood, and when pancreas when pancreas are not producing sufficient amount of insulin, the blood sugar level rises up and it results in a condition known as diabetes. That is diabetes mellitus. But diabetes insipidus is caused by the deficiency of vasopressin. When vasopressin or antidiuretic hormone, it is less in your body, the water reabsorption cannot take place properly. As a result, there can be loss of water from the body, which can gradually lead to dehydration. Such a situation is known as, or such a condition is known as diabetes insipidus. Any doubt? About diabetes mellitus you will be learning when you learn about pancreas. Yes, Sania, was that Sania?
Yes, ma'am. Can you repeat the last point?
Okay. Deficiency of, the significance of vasopressin. Vasopressin, we even call it as anti. Anti means against. Anti-diuretic, which will prevent diuresis. Diuresis is the loss of water from a body through urine. So when this hormone is present, it will promote reabsorption of water and electrolytes. So water loss through urine will be minimized. But when this particular hormone is lacking in your body, water reabsorption cannot take place effectively, or it will lead to reduced or diminished ability or capacity of the kidney to reabsorb. So when reabsorption is not taking place through urine, plenty of water will be lost, and that can lead to dehydration. And such a situation can lead to a disease or disorder known as diabetes insipidus. Okay, Sania?
Okay, ma'am.
Next, the third one, pineal gland. Okay, pineal gland. And so we completed hypothalamus, pituitary. Moving on to the third one. It is located on the dorsal side. You can see in the picture on the dorsal side of the forebrain, you can see pineal gland. It is given and inside the red circle. So pineal gland is found on the dorsal side of forebrain. It secretes melatonin. It's a very, very important hormone which controls some specific functions in our body. Regulates diurnal rhythm, 24-hour rhythm. So there is some biological clock working in our body. So that is why, like, if you have a habit of waking up at a particular time in the morning, even if it is a holiday, you automatically you awakens at that time. And then by one, you have a practice of having food on a daily basis. Even if you are not aware of the time, you will start feeling hungry. So there is a rhythm taking place, 24-hour rhythm, which is taking place in your body. And by the time, regularly at what time you used to go to sleep, so that time you will start yawning. You don't have to see the watch, but your body starts reacting. So this hormone will regulate the 24-hour rhythm of a body, maintaining body temperature, the sleep-wake cycle, all that is regulated by melatonin. So that is why it is said it will regulate the diurnal 24-hour rhythm of your body. Influences metabolism, pigmentation, and menstrual cycle. So apart from regulating the diurnal rhythm, it also plays an important role in metabolism. You know what is metabolism? Sum total of all the reactions taking place in the body, pigmentation and menstrual cycle. So these are the different functions carried out by the hormone melatonin synthesized by pineal gland. So it can be asked in different ways, like for example, which gland produces melatonin? What is its function? Or else, which hormone is responsible for the diurnal rhythm of a body? Which gland secretes it? So twisted, anyhow the question can be asked. So you should be thorough with all these hormones and the glands which produce those hormones as well as their functions. Influences our defense capability or ability to defend in an emergency situation. How do you defend? So that is also regulated to a certain extent by this hormone melatonin. So your diurnal rhythm, then metabolism, pigmentation, menstrual cycle, your ability to defend yourself, the defense capacity or capability, all these are regulated by pineal, regulated by melatonin produced by pineal gland. Now, fourth one is thyroid gland. It's the largest endocrine gland. Which is the smallest, children? Which is the smallest? Huh?
Pituitary.
Okay, and the largest thyroid gland is largest endocrine gland is thyroid gland. There are two lobes. So thyroid gland has got two lobes and these are situated on either side of the trachea. Trachea, you know, windpipe. So on either side of trachea, lobes are present. So thyroid gland is having two lobes which are situated on either side of trachea. At the same time, even though there are two lobes, they are interconnected by a connective tissue known as isthmus. So isthmus is the connective tissue that interconnects the two lobes of thyroid gland. And thyroid gland is made up of follicles and stromal tissues. So here you can see the two lobes, but these two lobes are interconnected by means of isthmus. So in the second figure, you can see both the lobes and these two lobes are interconnected by isthmus, and the thyroid gland or these lobes are made up of follicles and also stromal tissues. Okay, we'll continue next class.
Ma'am,
Oh,
can you show that slide of oxytocin?
oxytocin. We completed it long back, no? Only oxytocin?
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to ask you some review questions anyways. Only that you have doubt, Steffi?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. This one, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, sorry. 1 minute. Oxytocin, it helps in or brings about the contraction of smooth muscles, and in females, this contraction of the smooth muscles will help in childbirth and also ejection of milk from the mammary glands.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, only that? Only this you had doubt?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So thank you, children. So till what we have covered today, we had 3 periods. So what all points we had covered from the beginning, be prepared. I'll ask you before we begin our next period tomorrow. Okay. A quick revision will be there. Otherwise, I'm sure you won't read. So many difficult terms are there. So please do revise. It can be oral or written test. Come prepared. Okay. So thank you, children.
Thank you, ma'am.